Yes, the AI revolution is finally here, and after months of listening to terms like ChatGPT, Bard, technological unemployment, it's nice to hear about some hardware finally, namely an AI wearable. That's right, by now you must have seen this viral video of the AI Pin by a San Francisco startup called Humane. In this video, I'm going to tell you about how this new technology works and whether it's a hit or a miss. So stay tuned. The reveal video was quite a blockbuster, and if you thought it was very Apple-esque, well, that's because the couple on screen are co-founders and both former Apple employees, Imran Chaudhry and Bethany Bongiorno. Chaudhry was at Apple looking at iPhone design for nearly 2 decades, and his wife was a software development lead there for iPhone, iPad, and Mac. They launched Humane in 2018, and a bunch of Apple employees have jumped ship to join them ever since. Humane has raised a fair bit of money, $230 million to be precise. Do a little bit more digging and you'll find out that the startup has some high-profile investors like OpenAI, Microsoft, and Tiger Global. Well, OpenAI deserves an other show this week altogether with all those twists and turns happening out there. But coming back to the pin, yes, the wearable we were talking about, you can magnetically clip it onto your shirt or jacket and communicate with a virtual assistant. The pin has a tiny computer attached to a battery booster which can be swapped when you need it, when you run out of juice. In terms of technology, the pin is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, and it uses camera, depth and motion sensors to track and record its surroundings. It has an inbuilt speaker, but can also be connected to Bluetooth headphones if you want a bit of privacy, of course. Now, given that the founders are former Apple executives, there was obviously a mention of privacy features with what they call Trust Light, which will come on to let everyone know that the pin is recording something. In terms of software, the company is calling the operating system Cosmos, but it sounds a lot like ChatGPT for wearables, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's no screen to interact with because the company wants to reduce your screen time and ironically replace the iPhone. While the pin offers a unique form of interaction, I have my doubts about how popular this will get. Let me explain. Firstly, the lack of a display seems like a big hiccup and something that people might not want to adopt so soon. Gestures and voice aren't enough if you want to replace the smartphone. The laser projected display they showed in the launch video seemed a little blurry on the edges, albeit cool and futuristic. How will that perform in brightly lit outdoor conditions? That's something I'd like to test on Tech Today. Smartwatches are popular. Mixed reality headsets are gaining traction. Cars are focusing on infotainment screens with lots of tech. Anyone seeing the common thread here? We still need a display to interact with tech, at least in 2023. The second thing is price, $700 just for the hardware, and then an additional $24 each month as subscription fees. That's something that might not work here in India, but yes, you also get a SIM connection and all of that in the US, but it is incredibly expensive technology for the masses, and it will need several updates and a lot more marketing to gain some aspirational value like the big fruit company did many years ago. It's a bit similar to wearable rings. We had the Aura ring, which was bought by a few people globally, and then several Indian versions of this sort of tech came out over here. We tested one on Tech Today just recently. But tell me, how many people do you actually see with these rings on? Now compare that to people wearing smartwatches. And given the value proposition, that's a significantly bigger number. Full marks for innovation, but a bit of work to do when it comes to purpose by Humane. What problem is Humane really going to solve with this AI pin? That's the $250 million question. That being said, it's not a complete flop. Maybe not the next big thing either, but I think it's part, or maybe a component of the future. I'm thinking mixed reality headsets powered by advanced large language learning models like ChatGPT doing all the heavy lifting, along with, let's sprinkle in some humanoid robots in the next decade or so. It might not replace your smartphone, but an aesthetic clip-on device with generative AI superpowers is definitely a step in the right direction. I'd personally be really excited to see what the next version of this device ends up looking like.